What if I told you? Time isn't what you think it is. The past may still be happening. The future may have already occurred. And between them, there are doorways, hidden portals that only a few ever crossed. But they didn't use machines. No DeLorean. No wormholes. They had something else. A command from the creator of time. There was a prophet. His name, Sulayman AS. He spoke to birds, commanded jinn, and rode the wind itself. But one day, he asked for something even greater. Bring me her throne before she even arrives. And just like that, in the blink of an eye, the impossible became real. A throne hundreds of miles away, teleported before his eyes. Centuries later, 7 young believers ran from a tyrant. They hid inside a cave, and when they woke up, 300 years had passed. But their faces hadn't aged a single day. Who bent time for them? How did the clock freeze? What force let their bodies skip through centuries like it was just a nap? This is not fantasy. This is not science fiction. This is divine time travel. And it's hidden across the Qur'an like secret scrolls waiting to be opened. So what if I told you? The secrets of real-time travel are buried in the stories of the prophets, of the companions, and even in the coming of Dajjal. Let me take you back, not just in time, but beyond time itself. And it all begins with the one who rode the wind. Dark clouds churn above a great city. A king sits on a throne unlike anything ever built by human hands. Birds hover above him. Jinn kneel before him. Wind dances at his command. This is Sulayman AS. A prophet, yes. A king, yes. But more than that, a commander of the unseen. One morning, under the golden light of dawn, Sulayman walks across the floor of his palace, a floor so clear and polished it looked like water. Some say this palace floated above the sea, a palace of glass and wonder, shining like a jewel between sky and ocean. He stops, turns, and speaks to his council. Who will bring me her throne before she arrives? He's speaking of Queen Bilqis, the mysterious, powerful Queen of Sheba. Her throne wasn't ordinary. It was massive, glowing with gold and precious stones, guarded day and night, and placed in the heart of her faraway kingdom, more than 2,000 kilometers away. A mighty jinn steps forward. His voice is like thunder. I will bring it to you before you rise from your seat. Impressive. But then another voice breaks the silence. A calm voice, a human voice. I will bring it to you. In the blink of an eye. All eyes turn. This was not a jinn. This was a man. But not just any man. He was someone who had knowledge of the book. The book? What book could give a person such power? What kind of knowledge could move a mountain or a throne before anyone could ask? It happened. In an instant, the great throne of Bilqis appeared, shining and untouched right before Sulayman. No footsteps echoed, no army marched, no storm blew. It was just there, not by strength, not by speed, but by something far greater. Knowledge, faith, and a command from the unseen. It just appeared. Time folded, distance collapsed, and the laws of the universe bent in silence. This was divine teleportation, a transfer that happened faster than light, faster than thought. No technology, no wormhole, just a command from Al-Alim, the all-knowing. And here lies the secret. Time is not fixed. Space is not a barrier, not when Allah is the one who controls them. But this was only the beginning. Fast forward, centuries later, another empire, another tyrant, a cruel king now rules the land, twisting truth, demanding worship for himself instead of Allah. To believe in the one true God became a crime. a crime punished by fear, torture, even death, but not everyone bowed. Among the crowd were 7 young men. Some say they were royal, others say simple shepherds, but status didn't matter. What mattered was their heart, and their hearts chose truth. They refused to kneel to lies, so they did the only thing they could. They ran, through dirt roads and thorny paths, through heat, hunger, and fear, until at last they found shelter in the cool shadow of a cave, with nothing left but faith on their lips. They made a quiet dua. Our Lord, grant us from yourself mercy, and prepare for us from our affair right guidance. Surah Kahf 18:10. Then, silence. Their eyes grew heavy. Their limbs softened. Sleep took them, but this was no ordinary sleep. This was divine preservation. One day passed, then a week, then a century, then 300 solar years slipped by outside. Empires rose, kings died, worlds changed, but inside the cave it was still, peaceful, untouched. When they finally woke, it felt like no more than a lazy afternoon nap. How long have we remained? They asked one another. A day, or maybe part of a day. But when one of them stepped out to buy food, the truth hit like lightning. The coins in his hand? Ancient. The market? Unfamiliar. The people? Shocked. The world they knew was gone. And now, they were no longer fugitives. They were legends. They hadn't just slept. They had been wrapped as if time bent around them. No hunger, no aging, no decay. The Qur'an never called it sleep. It said, we turned them to the right and the left. Like their bodies were being gently repositioned by angels, kept fresh, preserved and honored, waiting for the exact moment when their story would rise again. 2 times, 2 miracles. Sulayman commands a throne to appear before time allows. The people of the cave live through 3 empires in what they think is an afternoon nap. But both stories hold the same secret. Time is not your master. Allah is. He bends it, freezes it, speeds it up, collapses centuries into seconds. And in the next part of this journey, we will see how a child was taken through all 7 heavens in one night, how a man with one eye will roam the earth and manipulate time itself, and how time travel isn't science fiction, it's part of Islamic truth. The stars glimmer, the earth is silent, and deep in Makkah, beneath a sky wrapped in stillness, one house holds a secret. Inside, a man is awake. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the final messenger, the seal of prophethood. And tonight, he will leave not just the earth, he will step outside of time itself. Suddenly, light fills the room. Not sunlight, not moonlight, but a being of light, Jibril alayhi salam. Beside him, a creature unlike anything seen before. Barak, faster than thought, graceful as lightning, powerful beyond words. Before a breath can be drawn, Makkah is behind them. From the heart of the Kaaba to the blessed land of Masjid al-Aqsa, from the earth to the heavens, from time into eternity. In the sky, doors open. He meets Adam alayhi salam in the first heaven, then Yahya, Isa, Yusuf, Idris, Harun, Musa. Each one welcomes him with honor. And finally, Ibrahim alayhi salam, resting with his back against the gates of paradise, surrounded by beauty beyond imagination. Each heaven a new dimension, each world deeper than the last. Realms not of science fiction, but of truth. And all of it happens in one night. Not a week, not an hour, not even the full stretch of night. When the Prophet returns to Makkah, the blanket he slept on is still warm. The lock on his door is still untouched. Time for him had barely moved, but he had traveled through the fabric of reality, not by speed, not by machinery, but by the will of Allah. This was no ordinary journey. It was Miraj, the divine ascension, a miracle that broke the rules of gravity and time, because the one who made those rules lifted them. But if time can be traveled for good, what happens when it's used for evil? Let me tell you about a man, not just any man, but one who has been chained on an island, hidden from the eyes of humanity, waiting. No storm has found him, no ship has crossed his path, and no map has ever marked that place. But long ago, a small group of companions were shipwrecked. They found themselves on that very island, and what they saw stayed with them forever. A strange creature covered in hair greeted them. It said, "Go to that man in the monastery." And there they met him face to face. He asked questions, but not random ones. Specific, measured, cold. "Tell me about the palm trees of Baysundu, they still bear fruit. What about the spring of Zughar, is it still flowing? And tell me about the unlettered prophet, has he come? Does he fight the Arabs? Do they follow him?" Each question was like a calculation. Each answer brought him closer to what he already knew, and when he was done, he revealed himself. "I am the Masih ad-Dajjal, the false Messiah, the great deceiver, the one whose arrival marks the beginning of Earth's darkest trial." But here's where it gets terrifying. The Prophet Muhammad didn't just warn us about his lies. He warned us about his power over time. A day with him will be like a year, then like a month, then like a week, then like your regular days. Time itself will seem broken, and many scholars, deep thinkers of this ummah have reflected on this. They say Dajjal might not just trick the eye, he might warp time itself, or worse, he might manipulate our experience of it. Think about that. A day may feel like a year, but not because the sun stands still, because your very sense of time will be hijacked. Imagine being trapped in a moment that never ends, a night that feels eternal, a deception that stretches so long. You begin to forget what's real. Just like the people of the cave, just like the mirage of the prophet, this too involves time behaving differently. But this time it's not a miracle. It's a test, a fitna wrapped in illusion. And unlike the past, this distortion won't lift you, it will try to shatter you. Dajjal will not walk alone. He will carry with him illusions more advanced than anything the world has seen. He will make the sky rain, the earth grow, the dead speak, and people will believe. Because when time bends and logic fails, truth becomes blurry. And if your heart isn't anchored, you'll drift with the tide of lies. Here's the truth. We treat time like it's fixed, like it's some ultimate law, something even the universe must obey. But that's not true. Time is not a god. It's not a master. It's not even a constant. It's just a servant of Allah. He made it. He shaped it. And He controls it, not us. He can fold it like a page in a book, stretch it like silk drifting in the wind, erase it like chalk from a board, and sometimes He lets you feel it. When you raise your hands in dua and 20 minutes feel like 2, that's time bending. When you lose yourself in salah and the world outside pauses, that's time slowing. When a dream feels like hours, but you wake up after a few seconds, that's time folding in your sleep. When the day of judgment comes and 50,000 years pass like a single glance, that's not just symbolism. That's time collapsing. And when Jannah opens, there will be no past, no future. Only now, only peace, only forever, because time won't exist there, and you won't miss it. The Qur'an isn't just a book of rules. It's not just a guide for prayer and fasting. It's something far greater. It is a map of reality, a book of cosmic truths, of divine patterns hidden behind ordinary life, of unseen technologies that no lab can build, of time travel without wires, wormholes, or machines. Let's trace the journey. Sulayman AS bent space calling a throne from another land in less than a blink. The people of the cave skipped across centuries like it was just a nap. The prophet rode across the skies, piercing through 7 dimensions in a single night. And Dajjal, when he arrives, will twist time itself, making people doubt what's real. And one day, the trumpet will blow, the heavens will tear, the earth will crack, and time will end. Allah says, the day they see it, it will be as if they had not remained in the world, but an afternoon or a morning. In other words, all of this, all your years, struggles, plans, heartbreaks, it will feel like it passed in half a day. That's the final secret. Time is an illusion. Eternity is real. And Allah is the only one who holds the clock. We end with the last hour ticking. The sky tears open like paper. The mountains crumble like sand. The earth shakes with a groan that echoes through every soul. And then the trumpet is raised. This is not science fiction. This is Qiyamah, the final reset. Because in the end, the greatest traveler through time is not a prophet, not a jinn, not a machine. It is the soul as it rises from the dust, crosses the silence of the grave, and steps into eternity. A world without clocks, without calendars, without endings. And your story is still being written. The seconds you're spending now, they're not just passing, they're being recorded. So ask yourself, not later, now, how will my time end? And what world will I wake up in next? Because in the end, you don't escape time. You stand before the one who created it.